Good evening and welcome to the Hamilton Report. I'm Scott J. Hamilton, your host for this evening, and I'm very happy that you are with us tonight. It's always a pleasure for you to welcome me into your home, your space, your office, wherever you may be watching from. This is a highlight of my week because I get to talk to some wonderful, smart people that are doing great work. And we continue with our Women's History Month tonight, and I'll introduce my guest in a moment. Before I do, though, I just want to say on behalf of the Oklahoma Democratic Party that we stand with our Asian sisters and brothers, calling for stopping the hate and the violence against the Asian community. We've seen an incredible uptick in hate related crimes against Asians over the last several years. And the incidents in Atlanta are heartrending for all of the families that are involved, and equally so for Asian Americans throughout the United States. So I just want you to know that we are thinking about you, holding you close in this dark time. It's further proof that we have plenty of room for change in our state and in our nation. And hopefully that's something we will always continue to work on together. Like I said, we continue our Women's History Month tonight. We've been focusing on women who are making a difference today, who are actually making history even now. We featured Reverend Dr. Lori Walke a couple of weeks ago. Last week, Tamaya Cox Toure, the executive director of the ACLU, was with us. And I'm privileged to welcome to our show tonight Jana Lewis Harkins. Jana is the president of the Oklahoma Federation of Democratic Women's Clubs. Jana, welcome to the Hamilton Report. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here with you tonight, Scott.
You know, we have known each other for a long time. We met at a protest or a rally somewhere early on after I moved back to Oklahoma. And gosh, I can't count the number of marches we've been to together and rallies and protests. And I've come to, at that time, I was admiring you from afar. But as I've gotten to know you, you are just such a powerhouse. And I want you to tell us a little bit about you. When did you first become involved in Oklahoma politics?
Well, I say without any reservation from birth, because I had very politically active parents and grandparents. Both my maternal and paternal grandparents were active politically. But it actually, with the Democratic Party, I like sharing this particular story. Kansas City, Missouri is one of my most favorite places. I love to go to Kansas City during the holidays, right after Thanksgiving, to see the Christmas display at the plaza. Well, lo and behold, I get to Kansas City and it's all ablaze because the story is in the papers that the Black people are going to take over the Democratic Party. And it was the 1974 mid-year convention was going on in Kansas City. And from that convention was where we actually adopted a new charter and where our affirmative action provisions came in. So I just kind of got thrown into that just because I guess because I had a little small afro and looked a little militant, and everybody thought that was why I was there, but I was really there just for the holidays. So that's history. And then the next year, my grandmother called me and she said, I want you to get over to Freddie Williams' house. She's running for the school board and she needs your help. I want you to go right now. And so because my grandmother said, I went right then. That's how I got involved with the Federation of Democratic Women, because they were very much behind Miss Freddie and her run for the school board. And of course, she served on the Oklahoma City Public School Board and then went on to the Oklahoma House of Representatives, representing House District 99 for 10 years. So that's kind of how I got right in the middle of and really involved with the Democratic Party and with the Federation of Democratic Women.
And from that time, you've never stepped away from the work, have you?
No, my mom was really, really sick for a couple of years, so I had to slow down. But she was also an activist, so I couldn't stop. It's just so, I have so many memories, hanging out with you and Wayne. And, it used to not be a protest that I would ever miss. And that's been one of the things with the pandemic, with everything going on with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and all of those things. I missed all of those opportunities to be in with the folks because I was afraid of the pandemic. So hopefully we're coming out of that, and there'll be many more protests for us to be involved in.
I'm sure there will. Let's stay with the pandemic for a moment. When you and I were chatting recently, you said that in some ways you don't want things to go back to normal because you've learned a whole new way, particularly with your federation, of being able to do business that involves more people.
Right. You get to involve more people. You also get, I've learned so many skills, just like the platform that we're on right now. I'd never heard of it before the pandemic. Of course, I had used Zoom, but StreamYard and Canva and all these things that have come about that we're almost pros at nowadays, and here we are immersed and get in our organizational meetings. Everybody's meeting, all up and down the line in the Democratic Party, and we're going to get to engage new people in new and different ways because of that.
And that's, I think that you really hit on something there because it's been nice to see people from around the state being able to join a meeting without traveling 2 or 3 hours to get to that
exactly. Meeting. We have one of our most dynamic clubs in Durant. And then even in Carter County, that's only a little over 100 miles away. But when you get to talking about getting on the road, and especially during the winter months or the rainy season, it just doesn't make much sense when you can, look. And I mean, I feel like I'm right there with you now, Scott. So, we just need to embrace doing things different ways. And like the Oklahoma Democratic Party, we're getting ready for our virtual state convention. Our National Federation of Democratic Women is meeting in June, unfortunately, the same time that our state Democratic Party is. But, it's unbelievable. And then as far as the planning, like I've had with the national convention, I've been able to participate in planning events where wasn't able to do that before because of expense and those type of things. So,
how many presidential conventions have you been to?
Ooh, many. I can tell you I've never been to a convention in New York, and I did not go to Miami in '76. And other than that, it helps to have, let me put it this way. As an activist, you meet lots of people in lots of different places. And it's so much fun having friends in sometimes high places, and you get opportunities that you don't have otherwise. So, and then of course, my sister is active in the Democratic Party in California. So, sometimes I just tag along with her. I've only been a delegate twice, once in 2012 at Charlotte, and then of course in 2020, but we didn't actually have a convention. I had big plans for going to Milwaukee. It was going to be a dynamic road trip, but you know, I think I've got maybe one more convention left in me.
Well, I'm not going to put any limits on you like that. Let me ask you, though, with regard to that, what is it that keeps you involved? What keeps you motivated to do this work all year long, year after year? Something's got to be driving you.
You know, I think there's so much work yet. You know, we have come a very long way. Women, African Americans, just people of color in general, you know, our LGBTQ community, everybody, we've come a long way, but there's so much more work that needs to be done. And if I can motivate, you know, I get my energy from the young people, you know, like Tamaya, like Alicia, you know, those people energize me just to see the work that they're doing. And then if I can be of some type of assistance to them, you know, I have to say that a lot of times, you know, I take a back seat, and that's purposely because, you know, I don't want to get in the way of somebody else's time. You know, I've had my time, but I still have, you know, I can be a resource, and I'm glad that, you know, there are a number of people that you know, call on me from time to time. And so that's what keeps me going. It's just like with the Federation. I've worked in the Federation for a very long time. I had no desire to be president of the Federation. We got to the convention 2 years ago, and there was nobody running. It was wide open, and there wasn't anybody stepping up. And so I said, well, I'll do it. And then another lady, she said she would do it. So we ended up having a race anyway. But that's just the way things happen, you know. So if I'm here, if you don't do it, it's got to be done. And so I'll give it my best shot, but I prefer to help you do it.
You know, I have to confess something to you that in preparing for these broadcasts every week, I often ask myself when I'm thinking about a guest, what would Jana think? Because you are a regular viewer of this program, and I learn a lot from you, which is so important. Because, gosh, for anyone that's never worked intimately with politics, there are so many layers of the onion. It's like the more you peel away, the more there is. The more you learn, the more there is to learn. And so, that being said, how do you engage younger women in this work? You're at a place in your life where you could just be relaxing, but that's not what you're doing. You're, in addition to all the work that you do for the party, you're also on the county election board. You serve there, so you are filling your time, but you also know what it's like for young people who are new in their careers or new starting families. How do you engage them?
You know, when I talk to young people, I tell them, you know, the first thing that you need to do, if regardless of what the work is, whether it's the Democratic Party or something else that you're passionate about, or you think you may be passionate about, you need to find yourself a mentor. And that's where, you know, I have been able to help with a couple of the young people, not just, you know, I mentor some young men as well. I'm not, you know, I don't just stick with mentoring young women because, you know, we need everybody in this struggle. So, you know, helping them figure out what they need, what you're not looking for someone to do the work for you. You're not looking for someone that's going to tell you everything it's a two-way conversation. Mentoring is conversation and about growth. So, I've taken classes on how to mentor because I want to be able to be of service. I don't want to be a hindrance to anybody. And, that's one of the things that with the Federation, we've got a state convention coming up on April the 10th. And prior to the convention, we're going to have a couple of panel discussions that will be similar to this format, live streaming on Facebook and on our Twitter channel. Not our Twitter, I wish, YouTube. But we've got a legislative panel, and we've got 3 of our dynamic young people there, Senator Boren from Norman, Representative Provenzano from Tulsa, and Jason, Representative Lowe from here in Oklahoma City. But we're also going to have a panel on not on the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And, there's so many young women involved in that.
Boy.
It is just, they just give me energy. I tell you, it's just unbelievable. But we're also going to have a panel discussion on the Federation and how to get involved in the Federation and what the Federation is about. A lot of people think that we're competing with the county organizations or the state organization, and that's not it. What I tell county chairs and district people is that, we are a resource. If we're part of your outreach team, and our goal is to reach women and to reach those minority communities and to make sure that the Democratic Party has a face in all these places. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned Carter County a little bit ago, but they are involved in that community, not just with the Carter County Democrats. They're involved in everything. The Ardmore Douglas, the historically black school there in Ardmore, they have a convention or a meeting, a reunion every year. And I have not been that I know of that the Democrats weren't there,
Really?
being active. Yeah, they are everywhere. It's just unbelievable. I tell you, I went down there just before the pandemic, and I was surprised. I thought that they would be at the bingo hall. I had a couple of relatives that I called to tell them that I was coming down, and they said, well, just swing by the bingo hall. And I really felt like that when I got there, I was going to see some Democratic women there too, because they are involved in everything. And everybody, if you ask, I was there to speak to the Democrats, and I told them that I was speaking with the Democratic women, and they knew all their names, and they have a reputation, and we want to have a reputation for the Democratic Party, not just in Carter County and Bryan County and Tulsa and Oklahoma City. We want it statewide. And so that's my goal. I hope I get reelected. I've kind of gotten cheated this last 2 years because, I couldn't get out and about. But, we have big plans, and, there's other people that's involved in the Federation besides myself that have been around since the beginning. What we call the Debbies, Debbie Lethwich, Debbie Thompson, and Debbie Hogue Downing, Anita Norman, and they are, I guess what you would say, the backbone of the organization, and they're always there to lend a helping hand for me and keep us going.
That's so good to hear. I had to laugh out loud when I heard from a reporter today that the Republicans have formed a PAC because what they call the the often overlooked female candidates. And our response to that was, welcome to present day. That's something that the Oklahoma Democratic Party has been involved with for a very long time.
Yes.
How have you seen? I'm thinking specifically candidates here. How have you seen our candidates evolve over the years, particularly women?
They are more. I won't say that they're more outgoing. They just have a different way of projecting than, say, like, my mentor, Freddie Williams. The person that replaced her was Angela Munson. So if you take the female candidates that we had, that was the generation Freddie and Miss Adkins, and that they were soft spoken, but they still projected. And then as we have evolved, I think it's more of a self-assuredness and an understanding that we do have a right to be in this space. And a lot of times we can do it better. So, I think that that's what we see now. It's like I guess when you look at 2020, Chelsea Brannon, that was hurt so many people when we were unable to get her reelected. And she was just so dynamic and just so knowledgeable. That's the thing now, is that our candidates, especially our female candidates, are, they not only have degree sense, they have business sense, they have, in your face political activism experience. All of those things, I think, make for better candidates, make for a better Democratic Party, and make for better communities as a whole.
I agree with you. Our state is stronger because of that.
Right.
And we've got some dynamic women right now who are in office, and we are recruiting every day for offices up and down the slate, including Congress and the governor's mansion. And some of the folks that we're talking to are just brilliant. And so I want to just underscore what you said. I think that's important. There's a dynamic quality that I'm saying across the board with so many of our women today.
Right. And the only thing that concerns me, because I'm looking at this new crop of activists that we have, and so many of them live in the same geographic area, which means that they're going to be in the same House district or Senate district. So one of the things that I tell young people is that don't be afraid to move away from the familiar. Move in a neighborhood where you can build a reputation in that neighborhood and possibly get elected there. Because everybody, it's just, I know that I'm not here to campaign for anybody, but I was so excited. I was looking at the slate of officers that are running for Oklahoma County, which, was my county, your county. And I was just like, whoo, I was so excited about the youth. The young people that have stepped forward, and I'm just like, oh man, we're going up. There's no way to look at it. We are going up, 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 because not only, do they have the stamina because of their youth, they have the connections, and they have the knowledge, all of these platforms and things like that. I know my my friend Chris Harrison, his daughter, Jakia, she was like doing the technology for our precinct meetings here in Oklahoma County. And I was just like, oh man, I can remember when she really decided to get involved in the Democratic Party. And that is, it's just amazing. And
Well,
she's not, not to call her out, but, there's a bunch of young people that we've got coming along that just keeps me encouraged and energized. And I'm ready to get out there and mix it up with them.
well, I don't fit into the young people's category anymore, but I will say that your activism, your work inspires people even beyond the young. And I know that because of your work, they're able to take the steps forward that they're taking today. And they're making a stand because you and women like you have given them the courage to do just that. So thank you. Thank you for all that you do for the party. Thank you for really working to make Oklahoma a better place for everyone. I want you to know that you deserve all of the appreciation that you can get because people do pay attention and recognize your good work. I'm so happy that you joined us this evening, and I'm going to ask if you'll come back and see us a little later on in the year and let us know what's happening and talk some more about how particularly women can become involved in a meaningful way for their careers and to help other women in theirs. Is that a promise?
That's a promise. I tell you, Women's Equality Day is going to be in August, of course, August 26th. And this is, although we celebrated the 19th Amendment last year, the 100th anniversary, this August is going to be the 50th year of the Women's Equality Day holiday. So we're planning some big things for that as well. So would love to come back and talk about that. And
I'll look forward to celebrating with you.
Great.
Jana, have a great evening, and I'll look forward to talking to you real soon, okay?
Okay. Can I give a shout out?
Of course.
Hi, Wayne. I know you're here. You're Scott's #1 fan, and I'm your #1 fan.
Oh boy, that makes my heart happy. Thank you, Jana. I'll talk to you real soon.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Wow, I love talking to people who are making history, positive history happen every day in their work. And no one's more deserving of being celebrated during Women's History Month than Jana Lewis Harkins. What a powerful story she has. And I'm just honored to know her and to call her a colleague and to call her a friend. Speaking of friends, I want you to know, my friends, that the party needs you. We need your support. We have launched a new initiative to register voters. It is so painless and it's so easy. They just go to our website, fill out some basic information. We send them a pre-filled out voter registration card. All they do is check their party, sign their name, and send it back in a postage-paid envelope. Now, this is a great initiative, but it costs money. And so I'm going to ask you to carefully consider contributing to this effort because every $2 helps us to register one more person. And I hope that you will consider making a contribution. You can do that anytime at okdemocrats.org/donate. On behalf of all of us at the Democratic Party and the Hamilton Report, I'm thankful that you tuned in this evening, and I do so hope that you will join us again next Monday right here at 7 o'clock. And if you would, please take a moment to share this broadcast with your friends on your timelines, tweet it out, point them to our YouTube page, any way that you can help us to amplify the message of growth in the Democratic Party, it sure will be appreciated. We need your partnership. So until next time, I hope that you have a wonderful week. I hope that you're taking good care of yourselves, that you're getting vaccinated, and hopefully before long we'll all be back in person together. Have a great evening.